Okay. So today we will see the another methods of the thread class, that is the interrupted thread method. Inside that we have a three methods: the interrupt method, is interrupted, and the interrupted method. We have three methods here, which are they? Like interrupt, is interrupted, and the interrupted method. Okay. Interrupt method is used to interrupt the thread, and these two methods have the same use. We will see later. First, we will see the interrupt method. Why we are using interrupt method is if we want to interrupt any thread. Okay, suppose we have a one thread and that thread we want to interrupt. So that time simple we will use the interrupt method. And when we use the interrupt method, so it will throw a one exception, that is the interrupted exception. Means sometimes that thread is doing something and we don't want to do that things by with that thread. So what we will do, simply we will interrupt that. If you interrupt that thread, it will be throw one exception, that is the interrupted exception. Okay, and if you want to use the interrupt method, it will only work when the thread is in the sleeping or the waiting state. Okay, when thread is in the sleeping or the waiting state, that time only the interrupt method will be work. Otherwise, it won't work. Okay, and what is the syntax of the thread? What is the syntax of the interrupt method? That is the public, void, and the interrupt method. Okay, this is the syntax of our interrupt method. Simply we'll come here inside the Eclipse and we will try to interrupt our thread. So simply first of that we will create a thread. Extend thread. Okay, this is the first step. There is another step, that is the simply we have to override the run method, public void run. This thing everyone knows, I think. Inside that simply I will write here hello. Okay, after that simply main method will create. Inside the main method we will create an object. Okay, so object I have created, and with the object simply will start our thread. Sorry, if I run this one, so hello will be print on the console. See, hello is printing on the console now. So this is a thread. We have created one thread here. Now I want to interrupt this thread. Okay, now I want to interrupt this thread. How we will interrupt that? Simply we have to use the interrupt method here, object dot interrupt. If I use interrupt method here, so can it will be interrupt now, and this thread will be interrupt now. If I run this one now also, so hello is printing on the console. But I told you, when our thread will be interrupt, it will be throw the interrupted exception. Okay, when our thread will be interrupt, so it will throw the interrupted exception. So why our thread is not interrupted now? Why our thread is not interrupt now? Because our thread is not in sleeping or the waiting state. Okay, interrupt method will only work when the thread is in the sleeping or the waiting state. But you see here, we have used any sleep method or any wait method here. No, we didn't use the sleep method or the wait method. That's why our interrupt method will not use. Okay, interrupt method will only work when our thread is in the sleeping or the waiting state. Okay, now if you want to uh, make our thread into the sleeping state, so for that what we will do, simply we will use here thread dot sleep method. Okay, 2 seconds I will sleep this thing. Okay, so for 2 seconds I will make it. After that's it. If I use this sleep method, so it is giving the error. Why it is giving the error? Anyone knows why it is giving the error? Except it is throw one exception, so we have to handle that exception. Simply I will write here try and the catch. With the help of try and catch we can handle that exception, because sleep method throw one exception, that is the interrupted exception. If you want to use that method, so simply we have to if you want to use this method, so simply we have to handle the exception first. After that we can easily use this method. Now if I run this one here, if I run this, right click here, and if I run as and the Java application. Now see, it is showing one exception, that is the interrupted exception. That is the sleep is interrupted. Sleep method is interrupted, means now this time our interrupt method is working. But hello is also printing. Why our hello is printing? Because inside that here it will follow this string, that is the thread dot sleep, means it is handling the exception. It is not terminating means it is not disturbing our normal flow of program. That's why it is printing the hello. Okay, it is printing hello here, because here we are handling the exception also. Why we are handling the exception? Because we want to maintain our normal flow of the program. That's why it is printing hello on the console also. This time also, what it will be, what it is doing, we have interrupt our thread with the help of interrupt method. How we have interrupt our thread with the help of interrupt method. And when our interrupt method will be work, interrupt method will only work when our thread is in the sleeping state or is in the waiting state. Suppose if I remove this thing from here, okay, sorry, I will remove this try and catch, and I will remove this sleep method also. Now see, our thread will be interrupt. So now our thread will not interrupt. Now if our thread will be interrupt, so it will throw the interrupt exception. So if you want to interrupt thread, our thread will be in the sleeping state or the waiting state. So simply we have to use sleep method or the wait method. Now we know the sleep method only, so I am using here sleep method. If I run this one now, so it will throw one exception, that is the interrupted exception. See, it is showing interrupted exception. Means why it is showing interrupted exception? Because we used here object dot interrupt. Means we are trying to interrupt a thread, and this method is working fine because our thread is in the sleeping or the waiting state. That is the use of our interrupt method. If you want to interrupt our threads, for that simply we'll use the interrupt method. Okay, and if our thread means if our interrupt method will be work, so it will be throw the one exception, that is the interrupted exception. Okay, it will be throw the interrupted exception. If a thread is not in sleeping or the waiting state, then calling interrupt method will be perform normal behavior. Means if our thread is not in the sleeping or the waiting state, if you are using the object dot interrupt method, so nothing will be happen. Okay, will be happen means normal behavior will happen in this program. Okay, if I don't use this thread dot sleep method, what will happen? It will, this program will be work normally like hello will be print on the console. It will be not throw any exception and all. If you are using thread dot sleep method, and if you are using the interrupt method also, that it will throw one exception, that is the interrupted exception, right? Exception it will be throw, that is the interrupted exception. That is the all about the interrupt method. We want to interrupt the thread, for that simply we are using the interrupt method. And when our interrupt method will be work, only work when the thread is in the sleeping state or the waiting state. Okay, anyone have any doubt here? Anyone have any doubt? Anyone have any doubt here? Interrupt method, anyone have any doubt? No? Okay. We will move to the another part, that is the is interrupted and the interrupted. Interrupted and is interrupted, both the methods have the same thing. See, interrupted method is used to check whether a thread is interrupted or not. Is interrupted method is also used to check whether a thread is interrupted or not. Both the methods are used to give the status. Means it will be give you the status that our thread will be interrupted or not. Okay, if our thread is interrupted or not, it will give you the status, both the things, that is the interrupted as well as the is interrupted method. So why we are using interrupted method and is interrupted method? If we want to check whether that our thread is interrupted or not, that for that simply we are using the interrupted and is interrupted method. What is the difference between these two methods? Why we are using the two methods? Because they both have the same thing. Like both the methods have the same use. Like we are checking whether our thread is interrupted or not with the help of both the methods. What is the difference between two things? So when we use the interrupted method, it will clear the interrupted status from true to false, not from false to true. Okay. When we will use the interrupted method, it will clear the status from interrupted to means true to false, not from the false to true. Remember this thing, it will change the status from true to false. Okay, but is interrupted method, it will not clear the interrupted status. Okay, now I will show you the one program. After that you will be easily understand what is the use of is interrupted and the interrupted method also. And both the things will return the boolean value. See here, interrupted method is also returning boolean value, is interrupted method is also returning the boolean value. The interrupted method is a static method, means we can use it with the help of class name directly. And is interrupted method is not a static method, so we cannot use directly with the help of with the class name. So what we will do? Simply we will come here and we will try to use that method. So simply I will inside the try I will write system.out. You can write outside the try also, no worries. Inside the system.out.println, what I am doing, I will make it table. Okay. Inside that, simply what I am doing is simply will try to use thread dot current thread. Why I am using current thread? Because I want to use this is interrupted method. It's not a static method, so we cannot directly use with the thread class. For that, I am using simply thread dot current thread dot is interrupted method. See, when our thread will be interrupt, we are using the interrupt method. When our interrupt method will be work, then our thread will be in sleeping or the waiting state. See, we are used here interrupt method also, and our thread is in the sleeping state and the waiting state, sleeping state only. Okay, what it will be do? It will simply print the is interrupted method. Right, whatever result will become, it will be print. Simply if I run this one, see, true is printing on the console. Means what is happening here? Means our result is printing. Means our thread is interrupted. It is saying like that. So simply we'll take the another example here. So if I remove this thing, okay, and here what I'm doing simply I will use for loop. Okay, I'm using for loop int I equals to 0. Then I is less than 5. I'm using. And then I plus plus I'm printing here. System dot out will simply write here. And here I'm printing I, and after that simply we will try to interrupt a thread dot sleep. Simply if you want to use that, if you want to interrupt the thread, simply we have to use sleep method. So I will use here sleep method. Okay, simply I'm using here thread dot sleep method, and I'm using this try and catch to the for the for loop. For loop I'm using this thing. I will make it suitable. Okay, so I have used here try and catch. When if exception will come, it will directly come into the catch block. Okay, what it will be do, if you want to interrupt a method, so what it will be do, simply it will come here. If any exception will come, it will come into the catch block. Means it will not enter result. See, if I run this one now, run as and then here Java application. See, only 0 is printing. After that, nothing is printing, because if exception will come, it is not print anything. If exception is come here, event will come here. It will come here. Object dot interrupt. It will be see any our thread is in the sleeping state or not. Yes, our thread is in the sleep state. After that, object dot start means it will be come into the run method. Here we are using for loop. I equals to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. Right? It will check the condition 0 is less than 5. 0 is less than 5 condition is true. Then it will come here. It will come here. It will print 0 on the console. Then thread dot sleep. Here we are getting the interrupted exception. If we get the interrupted exception, what it will do? It will be directly come into the catch block. It will be directly come into the catch block. It will become down here only. It will come outside of the class. Now see here, if you want to use that thing, that is the, if you want to check whether our thread is interrupted or not. So for that we have two methods. That is the interrupted method and the is interrupted. Firstly, we'll try to use the is interrupted method. Thread dot current thread dot is interrupted. Okay, simply I want to check that our thread is interrupted or not. If I run this one now, see, 2 is printing on the console. Why? Because our thread is in the sleeping state also. We have used here the interrupt method also. Now if I remove here thread dot sleep method. Now if I run this one, if I use that thing, so I have to remove this try and catch also. Right? I have to remove this thing also. If I remove this thing and if I remove this sleep method also, now see here, if I run this one, so what we are getting, sorry, I use here the interrupt method, so that's why it is getting. Now if I remove this one, if I run this one now, see what we are getting here, that is the false, means our thread is not interrupted here. Okay, that's why it is giving here the false. When we use the interrupt method, that time only it will give you the true result. Otherwise, it will give you the false result. Okay. When our thread is not interrupted, that time it will be give the false result, and our program will be run finally. Right? Our program will be run very finely. Now, another thing is that when we use interrupted method here, see here, if I use interrupted method, I small. Okay, when we use interrupted method, now our thread is interrupted or not? No, our thread is not interrupted. What it will be do? See, it will give result false, but it is not turning into the true. But if I used here object dot interrupt. Now, if I use interrupt method, so our thread is interrupt. It don't have to print anything, right? It will be give you true result here. After that, it will be not work anything, right? So if I run this one, see, it is giving true, but our program is running. See, our program is running. If I use here is interrupted method now. See, now you will be easily understand. Okay, here current. Okay, now if I use here is interrupted method, if I run this one now, so our thread is interrupted. After that, it is not running anything. Only zero is printing, and after that, it is not maintaining the flow. Why it is maintaining? It means if our thread is interrupted, our thread is not working. Means our for loop will not work. But if I use here the interrupted method, so it is running. It will give you the result also, and after that it is running. See, if I run this one now again, it will give you the true result. After that is run, our for loop is also working. Either our interrupt means our thread is interrupted, that's why that time also it is running. Why? Because if you use interrupted method, so what it will do, it will give you the status as a true, and it will change the status from the true to false, not from false to true. To result, it will turn that result from the true to false. See, our thread is interrupted here. What it will do, it will return true, and after that it will change the status from the true to false. Means we will things like our thread is not interrupted, and then it will be run the for loop like same like that. It will think like that our thread is not interrupted. After that, it will run the status, run the for loop like a same. Okay. If I run this again, see, thread not interrupted. What we will get here, see, true and false we are getting here. True and false we are getting here. Means what it will do? Simply it will return true. After that, it will return. It will change the status from true to false. After that, it will not change anything. See, if I print it again, if I run it again, true, then false, false. Means it will not change from false to true. It will only change from true to false only. Okay. See here, if I remove this interrupt again, if I run this one, it will not change from false to true. False, false, false only we are getting. Now, if you talk about is interrupted, so what will happen? Thread dot current thread will use simply I will use here is interrupt. Okay, so this thing I am using here. Simply, if I use it here, okay, so if you use is interrupted method, so what it will do? Simply, it will give you the status as a true, but it will not change from true to false. So that is the difference between the two things. That is the is interrupted method and the interrupted method. Both are used to check whether our thread is interrupted or not. But what it will do, if when we use the interrupted method, it will change the status from true to false. Okay, it will change the status from true to false. But if we use the is interrupted method, it will not change the status from true to false. Okay? It will not status from true to false. It will keep that status. It will remain that status. See, interrupted method will change the result if you call twice, but is interrupted method produce same result if you call twice. See, if you call three times also is interrupted method, it is returning the same thing. But if we use the interrupted method, it will return the status. I mean, it will return the status first, that is the true, and it will change the result from true to false. That is the difference between the is interrupted method and the interrupted method. Both have the same use. That is the both the method are used to check whether our thread is interrupted or not. Okay. What is the difference between the two things? If our thread is interrupted, what will we do? This interrupted method is change the status from true to false. our thread is interpreted, and when we are using the is interpreted method, it will not change the status from true to false. It will remain the status. Okay, so that is the interrupted method and the is interrupted method and the interrupt method. Why we are using the interrupt method? To interrupt the thread. Okay, that is the three methods we saw today. That is the interrupt method, is interrupted, and the interrupted. Anyone have any doubt here? Anyone have any doubt? Anyone have any doubt here? Does anyone have any doubt? No? Okay. Okay, so these are the all the methods that we saw inside the thread class. So what are the methods we saw inside the thread class? First we saw the basic methods, the naming methods, then demonstrate method we saw, then priority methods we saw. After that we saw the prevent thread execution method. Inside the prevent thread execution method we saw sleep, yield, and the join method. After that we saw the interrupting of thread method. Okay, interrupting a thread method. Inside that we saw the three methods, like the interrupt method, is interrupted, and the interrupted method. Now we will see the another part of the multi-threading, that is the synchronization. Okay, we'll see synchronization. Synchronization means, suppose if we have multiple threads and we have a one resource only. Okay, suppose we have a multiple thread. Suppose here we have a one resource like that. Okay, if we have a multiple thread, suppose this is a one thread. Okay, this is a suppose we have another thread here. Suppose we have another thread here. Okay, so if you have two threads and if you have a single resource, both the threads will access this resource at the same time. But we don't want like that. We want like that this thread will be go first, after that this thread will be go. We want like that. So for that simply we are using the synchronization. It is the process by which we can control the accessibility of the multiple thread to particular shared resource. Okay, we can control the accessibility of this thread. That is the meaning of our synchronization. The problem which occur without synchronization is data inconsistency and the thread interference. We will see the example that will create a problem. We will see one example without synchronization. Okay, simply I will remove this thing from here and we will try to create one application, that is the ticket booking application. Simply we will do that. Okay, so that is the easy only. What we will do, simply we will create a one class. Inside that we will take one total class, total seat, and after that we will compare that. If that seat is there, then we will book the seats, otherwise we will not book the seats. Okay, so simply we will create a class here and I am giving here ticket booking app. Simple application we will create. Okay, simple application we will try to create here. Inside that, what we are doing, simply we have to create one method. So I will use here public void book ticket. Okay, and after that we want the seats also, right? How many seats we have inside in our theater. For that simply I will use here total seats. Okay, total seats, how many seats we have inside our theater, that is the 10. Okay, now when we use this method, so for that we will pass a one seats from here, seat. Okay, now total here, total, we have a total seats, that is the 10, and from here we will pass our seats. Now we will compare that. We will use simply if else. Inside the if, what we will do, simply if our seats is less than, our seat is less than equals to total seats. If our seats is less than equal to total seats, then only it will book the seat. See, suppose if you have a 11 seats. Okay, suppose we have a 11 seats here, and we will try to, and in our theater we have a 10 seats only. What we will do, we will check the condition. 11 is less than 10. Condition is true or false? False, right? So what it will do, it will go into the else block. Okay. If we have a 10 seats in our theater and someone wants to book a 11 or 12 seats, so they don't have to book, no. That's why we are using the same condition here. If seats is less than equals to total seats, then only it will book a seats, that is seats system dot out. Here we will write ticket is booked, and simply we will print a book here. We will print a seats here, how many seats they booked. We will simply print it here, and I will give here the semicolon. Okay, and if they book the seat, simply we'll calculate the total seats also. How many seats we have left? The seats total seats equals to total seats minus how much seats they have booked here. Simply I will write that. Okay. After that, simply we'll print it also system dot out, and here we will print seats left. Okay, and here we will print it total seats. How many total seats we left? Okay, suppose from here I have passed the 6 seats. Okay, from here I have passed 6 seats. Just imagine I have passed the 6 seats. So what it will do? It will come inside that seats is less than equal to total seats. So how much seats we have? This 6 seats. 6 seats is less than equals to 10 seats. What is the total seats? That is the 10. So we will check the condition. 6 is less than equals to 10. So condition is true or false here? Condition is true or false? 6 is less than equals to 10. The condition is true or false here? Condition is true. Condition is true. So what it will be do? It will be go inside our block. Whatever we write inside in the block, it will be executed. So what it will be print first? Ticket is booked. How much seats we have? It is 6. So ticket is booked 6. It will be print on the console. After that, we are calculating the total seats. So what it will be do? What is the total seats? It is 10 minus 6. How much seats we will get it here? That is the 4. So how much seats we have left now? That is the 4 seats. So it will be print like that. Seat left, that is the 4. It will be print on the console. Right. If this condition is wrong, what it will do? It will go into this block, and simply it will print system dot out ticket is not. Simply it will print ticket is not booked, and it will print how much seats they want to book here. Okay. After that, simply it will become here, and we will print the same thing, that is the seat left. Simply we will print it here. Okay. Now we have how much seats we have. First person came, so how much seats he booked? The 6 seats. Now how much seats we have left now? That is the 4 seats, right? How much seats left now? That is the 4. It will become here. Now another person came. He wants to book a 8 ticket. How much seats we have? That is the 4. 8 is less than equals to 4. Right? 8 is less than equals to 4. The condition is true or false now? Condition is true or false? It is less than 4. Condition is true or false? False. Right? Condition is false now. Condition is false. Where it will go? Into the else block. What will you print? Ticket is not booked. How much tickets? That is the ticket is not booked. And seats left. How many seats? That is the 4 seats. It left now. It will be print on the console. Okay, that is the simple logic we build here. So what we did here, simply we have created a class with the ticket booking app. Inside that we have created a total seats, that is the 10. After that, here we have created the one method, that is with the name of book tickets. Inside that we have passed one parameter, that is the seat. From here we will pass our seats. When we call this method, that time simply we will pass these seats. After that, here we have wrote one condition, that is the if else. Inside if else we wrote one condition. If seat is less than equal to total seats, then only it will go into the if block. And when this condition is true, then it will print ticket is booked, and it will print the value of the seats. Okay. After that, we will calculate the total seats. After booking the seats, how many seats we have, we will calculating that, and we are printing on that. Printing also seats left. After that, total seats. If this condition is false, it will become here inside the else block. If it is not booked, it will be print on the console. It will be print on this thing. Okay, and after that, it's left. It will be print on this thing. Means how much total seats we have, it will be printed here. Okay, so this is the logic of our program. Now if you want to call this one, how to call this one? Simply we have to call this method with the help of this object. Now if you want to call this with the help of run method, how we will call that? Simply we have to create an creating one reference. After that, we will allocate the object into this reference. So for that, simply I am creating one reference here. This is ticket booking app B. With the help of this reference, we will call that method. So what is the name of our method? That is the book ticket. So I will use here book ticket seats. So here we will pass the seats also, and these seats we will create it here also. This is int seats. Okay, int seats simply we write here. Okay, now simply we will allocate the object into this object. How we will allocate that object? Simply we have to create an object first, new, and then ticket booking app. We will allocate it into this b object. B equals to new ticket booking app. Here it is giving the error because this is a instance variable and we are using it into static method. That's why it is giving the error. So for that, what we need to do? Simply we have to make it as a static. Now the error will be gone. It will be come into the main method. It will be allocate this object into the b object b variable. It will go here. Here we have created a reference into the b. Now with the help of this b, we are calling this its method. For that, simply we have to run this method. There is a run method we have to run. No. So for that, how we will run that thing? Simply we have to create an object. So new test class. We have to create a threads. So we will give the another. We will give the name of this system. Simple, I will give it first person, that is Sai. And Sai wants to book a ticket. So how much ticket Sai wants to book? So simply I will write it here. Sai dot seats. How much seats he wants to book? So six ticket. Sai wants to book six ticket. After that, simply with the help of Sai, we will run this our method. Okay, Sai dot start. After that, here we will make it the another person also. So new this. Okay, we will make it another person. So okay, so I will make it, I will take the another name, Avinash. Okay, okay, with the help of Avinash, how much tickets he wants to book? So Avinash that's it. Okay, he wants to book now the 8 tickets, and with the help of this Avinash object, we'll try to start our thread. Okay, so here also we have created the two threads. So just imagine that this thread name is a Sai and this thread name is a winner. This is not a thread name. Okay, these are the object names only. What is thread name? That is the thread 0 and the thread 1 here. Okay, thread 0 and the thread 1. Now suppose this is the Sai, this is the first person, Avinash is a second person. Sai wants to book a 6 ticket and Avinash wants to book a 8 ticket. What will we do? Simply JVM will come here. We are allocating the object into the variable, so it will be allocate the object into the B variable. Okay, this is the reference variable. After that, I dot seeds. Okay, which is the object here? Which is this variable here? This is the variable. Now, what is the value of this seeds now? That is the 6. Right? What is the value of the seeds? It is 6. After that, side dot start. If we use the start method, it will be indirectly run the, it will indirectly execute the run method. It will become here with the help of B class object. We are calling the book ticket. Okay, we are calling the book ticket method. So where is the book ticket method? Here. And what is this object? What is the value of the seats here? See, what is the value of seats? There is a 6. So from here we are passing the 6 value. So it will become here. It will be see where is the book ticket here. And what is the value of the seats now? That is the 6 here. From here we are passing only the 6 tickets. No. Okay. From here we are passing the 6 tickets. So what is the value of the seats? Here that is the 6. What is the value of this seat? That is the 6. Now we are comparing that seats is less than equal to total seats. So what is the value of seats now? That is the 6. 6 is less than equals to 10. 6 is less than equals to 10. Condition is true or false? Condition is true or false now? True. Condition is true. So what it will do? It will become into the block. What will be print? Ticket is booked. What is the value of seats? So what is the value of seats now? That is the 6. Ticket is booked 6. It will be print on the console. Okay. After that, we are calculating the total seats. So total seats equals to total seats minus 10. Total seats minus 6. So what is the value of seats now? That is the 6. Now what is the value of total seats here? That is the 6. It will change the value from 10 to 6. Okay. So 10 to 4. What is the new value of total seats here? That is the 4. It will print seats left. That is the 4. Okay. So it will come here again. Now which is the another person? That is the Avinash. Okay. After that, Avinash wants to book a 8 ticket. So what is the value of this seats now? That's the 8. Okay, it means he also wants to book a 8 ticket. So Avinash dot start here. It will become here inside the run method b dot book ticket. What is the value of the seats here? Now this is the 8. It will become here inside this one. What is the value of the seats here? Now it is the 8. It will be compare that 8 is less than equal. So what is the new value of total seats here? That is the 4. So 8 is less than equals to 4. What will be the output? What will be the result? That is the 8 less than equals to 4. That is the false. We will get it here, right? Here it is. We will get false. We will get false, right? Ticket is not booked. Will be print on the console. And what is the value of it's here? That is the 8, right? After that, seats left. How much seats left we have? is the 4, it will be print on the console. So this like if we want to run our program. But if I run this one now, so can we will get the same result? See, if I run this one now, so can we will get the same result? Ticket is booked 8, the ticket is booked 6, then ticket is booked 8 again. How much seats left? 2. How much seats left? Minus 4. Means how much seats it have booked? 8 plus 6. How much? That is the ticket is a booking. Means 10 people will sit on the 10 people will sit on the chair and 4 people will sit on the ground. Right? 4 people will sit on the ground. If I run this one again, see 6 ticket booked. Then seat left 4. Then again ticket is booked 8. Now also people are sitting on the ground again. We don't want to, we don't want to happen like that. If I run this one, so multiple times you will get multiple times if you run this one, run this thing, so multiple times you will get the correct result also. See? If I run this one, so this time also we are not good. Our people are sitting on the ground again. Sometimes you will get the true result also. If I run this one again and again, so we will get the result. Okay. If you run this one again and again, no, so sometimes you will get the result like seat ticket does not book like that. So we have to run it many times. It is completely depend on the thread scheduler. Okay, minus 4, minus 4, seat left 2, ticket is booked 6. Again, our ticket is booking. Every time our ticket is booking. Okay, so we will try to do the things. Here we will make it 7, and here we will make it 5 only. Okay, how much seats we are booking? 7 plus 5, 12 tickets, 12 tickets we are booking. So if I run this one, here, ticket is booked 7, seat left 3, ticket is not booked 5, seat left 3. Means this time our program is run finally. If I run this one, so our program will be changed. Our result will be changed. See, ticket is booked 7, ticket is booked 5, means 2 people sitting on the ground now. Again, we will run this one. We are giving the different results. See, ticket is booking 7, ticket is booked 5. Okay, so it's minus left minus 2, means our value is going into the minus. So this is the things we are getting without synchronization. It is a data inconsistency problem, and also it will also interference each other. We are not getting the correct result. Many times we are getting the false result only. So to resolve this issue, simply we are using the synchronization. Here we have two types of synchronization. There is the mutual exclusive and the cooperation. Okay, we have two types of synchronization, that is mutual exclusive and the cooperation. Inside the mutual exclusive we can achieve with the help of three ways. First is the synchronized method, another is the synchronized block, another one is the static synchronization. Cooperation can be achieving with the help of following method as the wait, notify, and the notify all. These all are the object class method, not the thread class method. Okay, we can achieve mutual exclusive with the help of synchronized method, synchronized block, and the static synchronization. Okay, so now what we will do, we will try to use this first way, that is the synchronized method. So how to use that? Simply we will use this thing. See here. Suppose I told you like if we have a one resource like that, we have a multiple thread like two thread. So both the threads will be trying to execute this resource at the same time. Okay, we both the threads will be trying to execute this resource at the same time. That's why we are getting the this thing. That's why we are getting the this result. The my our value is will be going into the minus. Which is the resource here now? Our this is our resource. Okay, this is our resource, and this resource will be access our thread, that is both the threads will be at the same time. That's why we are getting the result in the minus. If you want to resolve that, how to resolve that thing? Simply we will use here, simply we will use here first way, that is the synchronized method. So how to use the synchronized method? Simply use here synchronize keyword. It's so hard. Use synchronize keyword with the method. This method is now converted into the synchronize method. If you run this program multiple times also now, every time you will get the correct result. See, ticket is booked 7, ticket is booked 7, Every time we are getting the correct result. See, if I write here the 8 and the 5 also now, 8, and here if I write here, say on 8 and the 5 also, so this time also we will get the same result. See, every time we will get the correct result. That is the first way of the synchronization. That is the synchronized method. And with mutual exclusive, we can achieve with the help of three ways: the synchronized method, synchronized block, and the static synchronization. This is the first way to achieve the synchronization with the help of synchronized method. Okay, so this is the first one. And how to use that? Simply, we have to write synchronized keyword with the synchronized method, and you can successfully achieve the synchronized method. Synchronization with the help of synchronized method. Okay, that is the first way to achieve the synchronization is with the help of synchronized method. Okay, method which is declared with the help of synchronized keyword is called as the synchronized method now. And what is the internal working of the synchronization, that we will see tomorrow. Anyone have any doubt here? Anyone have any doubt? Anyone have any doubt here? No. Okay. Try to execute that program. Now today what we saw, that is the interrupting a thread method. After that we saw the synchronization. Just try to execute this program. Okay, after that try to use this way, as the synchronized block method way. Okay, you will be easily understand what is meant by synchronized method. Okay, so today's assignment is that you have to create a program on the interrupting a thread method by the three method you have to use there. There is the interrupt method, is interrupted, and the interrupted method. You have to create another program on the synchronization. That is this with the help of synchronized method. How to achieve the synchronization with the help of synchronized method? You have to get this program also, and you have to submit on the group. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. Thank you for your time. We'll meet it tomorrow. Bye.